Hi, we're Yoga Dragons. I'm Bongo, this is Sam. We're going to do some Acroyoga today. Let's just jump straight in. We'll explain the rest of what we do as we go along. Let's just start warming up. And we're going to start with the ankle and the toes. And we're just working that into the floor.
Okay, so it's nice to get a feel for your own body, loosen that off before you start working with your partner. So you will definitely need a partner for this class.
Change direction.
And ideally you would have an extra person who can be a spotter for safety later on. We're going to rope in our flatmate soon, but we'll also give you some options for using bits of furniture or cushions and things like that as an alternative.
And both directions. And we'll take it nice and easy now. We're just mobilizing the joints. Let's come to the knees. Be very aware. And we're noticing how the ankle and the foot is grounding into the floor and moving dynamically as we're moving through the knee joint. Let's change direction.
Okay, so we're going to use instructions like do this, do that in the class, but they're all options. If it doesn't feel right in your body, then do your own thing, adapt it as you need to. There's no need to cause any pain.
The other way. Okay, let's come up standing and just work through the hip joint. Check out the balance today. Let's come nice and upright with the upper body if we possibly can. And change direction. It doesn't really matter what you do with your arms. You can kind of do what Sam's doing and put them on your hips and look professional, or you can flap them around like I do.
Okay, so this is a good test as well as to start engaging the core for balance, but also checking out your space. Do you feel like you might crash into anything? We've tried to clear as much junk as we can away from our living room, so it's a good idea to do that if you can, and see if you can get mostly soft edges around the place.
Soft edge is good. Let's move into the hips this way. You're hula hooping with the world's biggest hula hoop or something. I don't know if that's accurate. I can't even hula hoop, so maybe this is what you do with the giant hula hoop. Let's come to the arms. Just big rotations, nice and slow to begin with. Try not to hit each other or anything else. And forwards. And one forwards, one backwards. Here you get to laugh at each other possibly, and also hopefully yourself. Change direction. Change direction. One more time, change direction. And then give them a nice big shake. And then reach up to the ceiling. Maybe I'll kneel down because my hand's getting onto the ceiling. And we're just going to reach with one arm. So nice stretch to all this side body. And then the other arm as if we're climbing up a rope ladder or something. Nice big opening stretch for the side.
I like to think about grabbing fruit from trees.
I like to think about grabbing chicken drumsticks. I'm only joking, I'm a vegetarian, really. Okay, both reaching up. Turn the palms out to the sides and then keep reaching through the fingertips. Keep going until you're about 45 degrees down, and then just tilt the head one way. Keep reaching through these opposite fingers, and then change, lengthening the side of the neck. This time turn the palms upwards. Same again, reach across with the neck and lengthen the other way. Relax the arms, give the shoulders a little roll, relax everything, do a little jig. You're in your own living room, so you can be as stupid as you like. Okay.
Okay. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so let's come to a tabletop position. Probably familiar with this one. So hands directly under the shoulders, knees under the hips, nice neutral back. And we're going to start putting some weight into the wrists. So fingers facing forwards. See if unless you're hypermobile, you can lock out the arms and try and get the eyes of the elbows to face forwards. If you are hypermobile, just put a little bend in the arms, and we'll start moving the weight around, feeling the weight coming through the wrists. If you want to put more weight, you can take your knees further apart or even come to a plank. If it feels too much, you can bring your knees closer together and still feel some weight going through the hands. So then come back to your tabletop position, and we'll face the fingers out towards the sides and then shifting the weight side to side. So we look like we're in some sort of like weird trance together now. And then we'll slowly start shifting the fingers back so they're pointing towards the knees or as far round as you feel okay with. And then shifting the weight forwards and backwards. Feeling a stretch along the forearm, inner forearm there. Okay.
So give them a quick shake out and then come back to tabletop. We're just going to take the left knee to the elbow and then try and place the foot quietly by the hand. And then we're just going to do the same with the other one, knee to elbow, place the foot. So we're in this kind of weird leapfrogging squat thing. And from here, just use your core to straighten up with the upper body, but try not to lift the bum any higher. And we'll just take the hands out as if we're carrying a very heavy platter of drumsticks. And then we'll just come all the way up to standing and then refine that position. And then we want to think goddess with the feet and knees. So the knees are going to track exactly the direction of the toes. So they want to point in the same direction to protect your knees. And the next one will just come down and stay. You might want to adjust how wide your feet are so that ideally we're finding a kind of 90-degree angle in the knee. And then from here we're just going to sway as if we're seaweed or something underwater.
Feel a little bit of a stretch in your inner thighs here, that's nice.
So this is exactly kind of like a spotting position where you're looking to take weight straight down as if you are carrying something heavy. So if I had Sam in like not a fireman's lift, just a straight lift there, this would be how I want to be using my legs to take the weight. And while we're warming up like that, you can carry on swaying, or you can come out of it, or you can go back in. Both. While you're doing it, I'll just show you a little thing with Sam here. So in this position, she's super strong down this way, like I was saying, because both her legs are pushing upwards. She's also quite strong if I push her that way, because there's a leg all the way over there supporting. Same if I push her this way. She's really not strong at all. In fact, I can push her over with my little finger in that direction, and same this direction. I can't tell if Sam's just play acting or whether that's really working or not. But either way, yeah, so she's weak that way and that way. So now we're going to change to a stance where she's strong in that direction. And this is kind of like a warrior one position, only we're going to take the foot a little bit further out so it's a bit more 2 train tracks than 1. In this position, she's very strong this way. Yeah, so don't push, don't let me push you. Yeah, so she's strong forwards and she's strong backwards, but she's less strong in the side position. This all becomes really important when you're spotting, because if someone falls towards you, you want to be able to either shove them or not shove them or whatever. Anyway, that was a little aside, let's carry on.
Okay, so now we just get the heart rate going a little bit, warm up the legs a bit, and explore your space so you can really know where your boundaries are. We'll start just picking the legs up and the heels, kick the bum. You can dance around each other. now, just watch and we'll show you. Facing each other, feet together, just almost touching, and then take your grip on the forearms, doesn't matter who goes on top or bottom, and then slowly leaning out, keeping the body straight, core engaged, and the arms become straight as you come into a counterbalance. So now if you want to have a go at that yourself, how we're going to work the class is that we'll show you first so you can stop a second, and then we'll put some music on while you have a go. And if you're getting the hang of it, we'll give you some other options you can add in once you've had a little go.
We'll give you the options even if you're not getting the hang of it, but they're very much options. So here's one, leaning out with one arm, and there's no end of different variations you can do with this. It's just a question of checking out each other's balance, kind of learning without having to say anything where the balance point is and how much you should or shouldn't move out, making mistakes, doing all this kind of thing and falling down. You can play with levels. In general, the slower you move, the better, because the more things are signalled to your partner.
I say you kill your heroes and fight, baby, you'll cry. No need to worry, 'cause everybody will die. Every day we just go, baby, go. Don't you
If it's not working, what might be happening is you're letting your core go, or you're kind of sit your bum back, get closer to the floor because it feels safe, and that can make it more difficult. Or you might be stood too far apart, and that might be causing that kind of thing.
If your feet are really far apart, it's very hard to do any kind of leaning back unless you stick your bum out. So you can try with your feet touching, and in fact if you're getting the hang of it, you can even go kind of feet on top of each other, and that can make it more exciting too. Okay, here's a fun one. We're going to go back to back this time. You can interlock hands, arms like this if you want to, or for the better version, you can just have your hands free or out in front of you, and then walk your feet away a bit so that you're leaning. It's kind of like the reverse of the other one. You're leaning back and you're pushing your bum out. So we want contact with the lower back, and then we're just going to bend our legs down, 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 and nice and slowly until you're sitting on the floor, and then together you're going to go back up. And up and down and up and down. Okay, so give that a go. Why don't you shoot for like 10 or something till you get your thighs really waking up. Like that.
So as with most squats, try and make sure your knees aren't coming over your ankles, so they're stacked on top. So for this one we're going to come to the floor and start warming up the core a little bit. So if you sit with your hips really close to each other, facing each other like this, and then lie back, lower back on the floor, legs up in the air, straight up above your hips, so this is the L basing position, and then take each other's hands around your hips. And from here, just engage the lower abs and try and scoot the hips up and over around each other. So, like this. So, let's get you going and maybe aim for 10 of these. Try to ensure that your legs don't come right over your head like this. You want them going up to the ceiling as much as possible.
for the next one person gets to lie down, which is nice. But they're going to try and stay in this exact shape while I do some things to kind of change that. So the only part that's going to change is Sam's neck. She's not going to try and keep that completely rigid. So neck's quite relaxed, but from the shoulders down, that all stays really tight and strong. So I'm going to start by asking Sam to clench her feet together. Yep. And then I'm bending down nice and low and using my legs to come to this position. So just to show you what will probably happen if you're not tense, this will happen. So all this needs to be really strong, and then this will happen. From there we can play a little game where we test whether that is strong or not by just kind of letting go of one leg, then the other, and just testing out whether the legs drop to the floor. Yeah, play with that.
So it doesn't look like I'm working very hard, but I'm just super sucking my abs in, but also engaging my whole legs, just keeping everything tight. Okay, so this one's an exercise for the base to really feel what kind of muscles they need to use to keep their legs nice and stable for the flyer. So the base is going to bring their legs up to the L base position, just above their hips.
If this is a problem for you to have straight legs here, then you can bend them a bit, or another great option is just to shove something under your lower back, and that helps a lot in terms of relieving hamstring tightness.
Yeah. So the base is in this position, and what you're going to do is just try and destabilize them a bit. So taking the legs off to one side, and they're going to try and resist you. So I'm pushing quite hard, and Bongo's resisting, trying to keep his legs over his centre, over the hips.
You don't need to spend too long doing this one, but it just simulates the kinds of side-to-side wobbles you get as soon as you've got wiggling human on top of your feet.
So again, don't forget to switch round.
Obviously I'm not pushing super hard. You're really trying not to overcompensate with your base.
Okay, now we'll start showing you some of the basic Acroyoga moves. So this is the bird, and your base, which is for now going to be the heavier of the two of you, unless you're same size, which is also fine. And I'll be the flyer. We'll just show you to begin with, and then we'll explain what we're doing. So this is the basic bird position, or front plank. So I'm going to step really close to the base's bum. I'm going to have my arms outstretched with my fingers pointing forwards, And then I'm going to keep this really tight core stick position that we were practicing on the floor. I'm just going to lean my weight in and wait. So I'm leaning from the ankles and keeping my shape. And being ready to come back to the floor.
Okay, for my part, I'm placing my feet kind of roughly on the hips with the outside edges parallel, and then I wait. When I feel Sam's weight coming in, here's my choice to be kind of like, oh no, not yet, and push back. Or I can receive, bend my legs, and then sort of scoop and push with my heels and straighten my legs back up. And you want to end up in this L-shape position with a kind of 90 degree between your legs and the floor. That's ideally how you want to be. If your legs aren't super flexible, you can always keep them bent, or again, like before, stuff something under your lower back. And my arms want to, ideally, if you drew a straight line through my shoulder, through our wrists, and up through Sam's shoulder, it would be nice and square and straight and cut through all those different points. Stacked, as we call it.
Yeah. So Bongo's hands are just being a platform for me, and his fingers are turned outwards. So we're not coming into some sort of like crazy grip like this where I can't escape if I need to fall off. Okay.
Great. Spotting?
Spotting. Okay.
Okay, this is
Great.
where we have excitement of our flatmate who's never done Acroyoga before.
Genuinely.
So come on in, Danny. Would you like to base or fly?
Base first.
Base, okay, great. And I'll do the spotting and Sam will fly. So just for this one, watch what I do mainly, because I want to explain the spotting. Okay.
Okay.
Looks good.
Happy? Mm-hmm. Cool. So you're gonna walk in.
Looks good.
I'm just going to move your feet a little bit. Yeah.
So I'm sideways on in this kind of goddess position we practiced earlier.
Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah, so point your fingers out that way. Yeah, nice. Yeah, and then push straight again. Yeah, super solid.
Yeah, really nice. So that was almost too good, but so one of my hands is on the upper arm and the other one can be kind of on the ankle of the base, and then if they start going sideways like this, I can already be correcting the balance. And then if they come sideways towards me, I can kind of body check with my hips. Now, stay there for a second. Let me just give you a bad example. So if I'm hanging around here, there's too much distance for me to really do anything. If they do start falling over, I'll kind of go and try and grab them, but actually I'll probably just end up injuring my own back. So it's important to be with your hips no more than like a hand's distance away from the flyer's hips.
Yeah, nice.
Well, that was perfect. Well done. Do you want to try flying it?
Cool.
There we go. One more time, and then you use base and I'll.
Mm-hmm. So, does that feel okay?
Yep.
Mm-hmm. So try and keep your body straight, and your hands will reach mine once. Yeah. So.
Okay, wait, stop there. So the other thing the spot can do is they can spot mistakes that are much easier to see from an outside perspective. So in that case, what happened was you kind of like leant forwards like this, and we want to avoid that and just lean with the hips and everything in one straight line. Yes.
Yeah. Perfect. Nice.
Yeah, really nice.
Do you feel okay?
Yep.
Yes, perfect. Great. And you see how my whole body is quite close, or hopefully you do.
Okay.
Nice.
Shall we go for arms free variation?
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay, so
we'll
you'll
put the
be
music
practicing this and there'll be music.
Billy Ray was a preacher's son, and when his daddy would visit, he'd come along. When they gathered around and started talking, Cousin Billy would take me a walking. Out through the backyard we go walking. Then he looked into my eyes. Lord knows to my surprise, the only one who could ever reach me was the son of a preacher man. The only boy who could could ever teach me was the son of a preacher man. Yes, he was. He was. Yes, he was. Being good isn't always easy, no matter how hard I try. When he started sweet talking to me, he'd come and tell me everything is alright. He'd kiss and tell me everything's alright. Can I get away again tonight? The only one who could ever reach me was the son of a preacher man. The only boy who could ever teach me was the son of a preacher man. Yes, he was. He was. Lord knows he was. Yes, he was. How well I remember the look was in his eyes, stealing kisses from me on the slide, taking time to make time, telling me that he's all mine, learning from each other's knowing, looking to see how much we've grown, and the only one who could ever reach me was the son of a preacher man. The only boy who could ever teach me was the son of a preacher man. Yes, he was. He was. Oh, yes, he was. The only one who could ever reach me. He was the sweet talking son of a preacher man. The only boy who could ever teach me. I guess he was the son of a preacher. The only one who could ever move me sweet was the son of a preacher. The only one who could ever prove me was the son of a preacher man. The only one who could ever reach me.
On this one or the next one? That's your turn.
Okay, there's lots of ways to get into this and variations, so we'll show you this way first.
So I'm taking a nice loose grip on Sam's ankles, and then I'm crunching my thighs right into my chest until I can take my toes onto her upper thigh. Then I wait. Once she's sitting back, then I start pushing everything away until we come to this classic L position again. To reverse, I change my grip back to where it was, nice and loose, and then just guide the feet either side of my head.
As a flyer, I've stepped each foot either side of the base's head. Then I'm going to wait until I can feel a guiding grip on my ankles and some toes to sit down on. Then I'm really going to sit like as if I was in a chair, set my bum back and wait to be lifted up. So I'm not doing a lot, but I really have to make sure my bum does come back. Then I've just got a little bit of core engagement to make sure I'm sat straight up. So we've got a nice straight line from Bongo's hips right up through to my hips, all the way up to the top of my head. I can do what I like with my arms here. And then as we lower down, I'm going to wait to feel that Bongo's hands have moved so I don't step on them when I sit up. With a spotter. Do you want to fly this one first? Yeah. Okay, so the danger point here is coming off the back. So that's mainly what I'm going to focus on.
Ready?
So I'm in this more of a warrior position this time. And you can be hands on, following the hips, and just here, making sure. Now if the base is wobbling, again you can take hold of the ankles, try and stabilise them here, but mainly I'm watching out that the flyer doesn't fall off backwards.
Okay. Down.
So if you've got cushions, this is where you'll put them, or side to side.
Nice.
Great. It's a nice easy one, that seems to say.
variation to get to that position.
A slightly different position. So we start in bed, as you've tried before. Doesn't matter if you still need the hands, we're using them anyway.
So from bird, here's what happens. I take 1 foot away, and this could be all you really do. Like playing with taking 1 foot away is quite fun in itself.
Let me just explain that.
Yeah.
Okay, so when I know Bongo is going to take a foot away, I'm going to try and keep that hip lifted so it doesn't just droop. And a lot of weight is coming through this arm now, the opposite one.
That's why it's really important to keep the arms straight. If we're here and this arm bends, it's impossible for Sam to stay sort of square and straight. Great, so that's working well. So I'll take one off and wait for Sam.
So I'm bringing my knee towards my elbow like a crunch.
That reveals the inner thigh, and I'm just going to turn my toes inwards and on her thigh there.
Then I'm taking this foot and wrapping it around the front of Bongo's calf, and the foot is hooking around the back. And then we do the same on the other. So my knee is crunching to my elbow, foot's coming in, and then it's going around the front of the calf and around the back.
Okay, to make it easy for Sam to sit up, I'm going to bend my knees but not my arms. If I bend my arms and my knees, nothing changes, everything comes down. So my knees but not my arms, and then I can straighten my arms.
Great.
Reverse.
So 1 foot at a time, unhooks and then shoots out to the back. Great.
Repeat the procedure in the reverse order.
Okay.
Okay, here comes Danny.
So to begin with, I'm on the side in my goddess position, spotting for bed. And when taking one leg away, this is when things might start to get unstable. So I'm really ready to grab here and stabilise.
Lift that hip a bit more. Yeah, really nice. Let's try the other side. Nice. Okay. Want to try it?
Yep.
Okay, so I'll take this one off. Yeah, nice. Okay, and that's going to wrap around the front. Yeah, hook it. And that's same with the other side.
Still around the side, and then as they come into this final position, I'm moving around the back.
Sit back.
So if anything happens this way, I can just push her this way. So I'm really close and making it safe. So again, if you haven't got a spotter, this is where you want all your cushions, and side to side in case it goes sideways.
Great, okay, and reverse order.
So again, I'm at the hips as they're moving through. Then as the legs shoot out, I'm coming around the side, back to my goddess position. Great.
Nice. No hands. Great, great.
Cool, that's good.
Switcheroo.
go upside down. If you've got any blood pressure issues or glaucoma, anything like that, either skip this one or just be really conscious of not staying upside down too long and noticing any head rush situations.
Okay, I'll just show you first. So here's how this goes. One hand is going to go on the upper arm, the other one is going to wrap around the belly, and then my head's going to come all the way past Sam's ribs so you can see down here. And so I'm actually kind of resting on my collarbones once I'm in this position, and then either you can kind of do a little hop to get you up, and then once you're balanced there you can extend up if you balance there, and then you can do all kinds of like playing around here with your legs. You can get your partner to move around. You can try all these kinds of things before you come down. Let's just show one from that angle then.
So as the base, I'm really using my bones as stacks. My knees are directly under my hips, my hands directly under my shoulders, and I'm just resisting the force that Bongo's applying by playing around on me.
So obviously the main danger is if I fall backwards, back in this direction. If I feel myself going that way, I'm going to fold in the middle and then kind of try and roll softly. Or ideally you'll have a spotter.
Yeah, or cushions this way.
Anything else to say?
No.
Okay, so try that whilst you watch us blundering around.
Kind of a pose that we use for therapeutic sometimes. It's a really nice back arch for the flyer. Yeah, we'll just show you first. It's called whale, so you can add sound effects if you like.
So grip just like earlier. Oops. Okay, I'm going to reach my feet this time. Instead of crunching them in, I'm going almost as high as I can with my toes until I feel Sam's mid-stroke upper back. Then I'm pushing everything away. So, unlike most things in acroyoga and L basing, my legs don't make an actual straight L shape. They're slightly further back and my arms are pushing that way. So the force through my hands is going kind of where I'm pointing now, and my feet's going back towards the window. So the idea being that I'm kind of tractioning out Sam's spine. Okay.
So same starting position as the seated throne before, feet either side of the base's head. Again, I can take the ankles if I want, just so I know what I'm leaning onto, so thumbs on the middle and fingers on the outside. And I can help position the base's feet, so I like them kind of like on my shoulder blades roughly. Then I'm opening my chest and leaning back. I don't jump, I just wait to be lifted. And if it's too much on your neck to lean back, you can use your own arms to support it. And then if I feel like I want more of a stretch in the chest, I can say more toes, is it? Or heels?
Toes.
Toes. And the base is going to point his toes more.
Mm-hmm. And then this should hopefully feel like quite a relaxed position.
Mm-hmm. I can open my shoulders by letting my head and neck go.
Yeah, and then to come out, it's just the reverse.
Okay.
Yeah.
Spot it. On again. Okay. So I'm in my goddess on the side position. I'm going to support the back as she comes in.
Nice.
So as well as supporting the back, I can also have a hand on the base's ankle. So if there's any side to side wobbling, I can stabilise or just create a bit of fun. And stay here the whole time. And quite here, if you have got a third person, it's useful because sometimes the flyer and the base can't really hear each other. So you might need to be a translator between the two.
Is that okay? Do you want more or less toes?
More
More toes makes it harder, as in more stretch.
toes. Is that okay? Yeah? Cool.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's
Again,
come
to
down.
come out, support the back, and then have a hand ready in case of face planting. Yes. Yeah.
Great. Good job.
Okay, so now we'll put like 3 of those moves that you just learnt together. So obviously if you still need to practice them to make them stable enough to combine, then that's cool. We'll just show you how it can go if you're ready.
Okay. Oops. First, kick your flyer.
Okay, so first the bird. Hopefully got this one now. Take hands. We're going to step it to the throne. This variation.
1, 2.
So I'm just keeping my legs straight.
Don't have
You
a
can-
poo.
You can rest them on the calves, and then maybe Grace is going to move their feet a little bit.
I like to move it.
Get a nice comfortable seat. And then from there we can move to the whale. Should we go back out again?
Tight. It's weird not popping.
Okay.
Okay.
Do you want to talk through?
Okay.
Yeah.
So, bird. As you've been doing, this is good. I'm taking 1 foot off.
I'm bringing my knee to my nose this time.
It's a bit different than last time. My foot's coming more straight. The toes a little bit in.
Same.
Same.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. We can take the feet. You can keep the grip here as we transition to whale and then change it later, or you can change it now. It's up to you. But essentially, I'm shifting 1 foot off and Sam's compensating.
Mm-hmm.
I have to have quite a good force through here. If this wasn't supporting, Sam's would just kind of fall off sideways.
Mm-hmm.
Then then I forget what I'm doing. I'm going to bend my standing leg and reach with this one behind until I find Sam's kind of upper mid-back.
When I feel that foot, then I can lean a load of weight into it.
And then I can join it with the other one. Then I can reach out with my arms. I can change the grip to under by the ankles. And we're in whale. And to reverse, I can change my grip back. I turn 1 foot kind of sideways on the upper back, so it's covering both sides.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other foot is going to come toes pointing in slightly on the upper thigh.
I bend my knees at this point, and then a bit of an abs curl as I sit up.
You'll see I've bent my leg quite low. That makes it easier for the flyer, but harder for me. I could have also had it a bit higher and made the flyer work more.
Okay, so spotting's just putting together what we know already. So you're on the side, just making sure.
Okay. Now then, does it feel like it's too much weight through the wrists when you do this? Because when I take a foot off, it's quite a bit of weight.
No,
Yeah, sure. Yeah, because you could do it with fists if you wanted to, and I could just be supporting that way
that's right.
if that's more comfy. Okay, I'm taking this one off. Oh, I've got it wrong already. Yeah, go on. You were right, and I was wrong. Yeah, now the other one.
And switching to the back.
Nice.
Nice.
And bit of bend in the knees. Yeah, okay, so I'm going to take this foot off. Yeah.
Okay. And here at the back. Should be over this side so you can see.
Okay, pour all the way into this side if you can then.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice.
Okay.
I'll just change the grip if I can. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Okay.
Reversal.
And back. So I'm here. Yep.
Nice. Okay, let's see if we can do this a bit better.
Going back to the sides. Yes. Yes. Perfect.
Relive!
Woo! Okay, I'll do.
Fold, my leaf, fold.
So should we just go into it? I think that's easiest.
Okay.
Yeah.
Check out my feet.
Mm-hmm.
Like a frog. Or something. So the idea with this one is that the flyer is going to be very relaxed, much like you see Sam here, very corpse-like. Yeah, and I'm just going to check that to begin with, just by taking hold of the hands, checking, nice and relaxed. You do feel relaxed. You can kind of like do some puppetry. It can help to like relax the flyer's arms, just to kind of like wiggle around a little bit.
Feet are going to come out to the side and they're going to sit sort of like in my hip creases, basically. And my only job here is to do exactly the opposite of bird and fold in the middle. So my legs are going to become really heavy, and the only thing that can go wrong here is if you let your legs go up to the sky, your head will fall down into the crotch. So you create that shelf by folding in the middle and then you just hang out.
You'll notice Sam's legs are also kind of like splayed apart a little bit, which is, it makes it easier and more comfy. So yes, from here, all the wiggling I was mentioning earlier. Once you've done that and you're convinced they're quite relaxed, you can just bend the knees a little bit and then work down the muscles either side of the spine, just giving them a little massage. Basically encouraging the spine to relax and lengthen. And gravity's kind of on your side. And you can take sort of a while about this.
What it is ain't exactly clear. There's a man with a gun over there, telling me I got to beware. I think it's time we stop, children. What's that sound? Everybody look what's going down. There's battle lines.
When you want to come out, then you're just going to take the same sort of hand position as when you're in bed and just
Young people speaking their minds are getting so much resistance from behind. Time we stop. Hey, what's that sound? Everybody look what's going down. What a field day for the heat. 1,000 people in the street, singing songs and a carrying signs. Mostly say.
So it can be quite intense for the flyer because all the weight comes onto that position on the feet, which is kind of like a blood stop in the leg. So there's two different things. One is stay to the base as soon as you've had enough that you want to come down, and then hopefully they'll put them down. And the other is, as the base have really soft feet, and a good check for soft feet is if you can wiggle your toes, then the chances are your feet aren't clenched into like blocks of wood or anything.
And if you haven't done this before, the base might be a little bit unstable, so you can stabilise side to side motion. So just be aware, like, be really close again.
What's that sound? Everybody look what's going down. Stop now. What's that sound? Everybody look what's going
So this one's really good, particularly if you've been basing a lot. So I'm going to do this one on Bongo, but you can switch round and you can do this the same time as me probably. So the bass is going to be on his back with the legs up, and then I'm going to step in between the legs and just have his feet, I've got a grip at the back of his heels and just have his feet behind my bum. Put one foot in front of the other, and you can gently just lean backwards. And that provides a bit of traction on the base's spine. So don't push forwards when you come out of it, just relax off your lean and then slowly, gently pulling backwards a little bit and then letting that tension go. You can see the base's head probably nodding along as I'm moving. So give that a nice little go. This will probably feel really nice for the bass. You don't have to do anything, you can just relax. Also, if this doesn't feel right, the bass will tell you.
Feels great.
Now another one you can try, what we call a bus driver. So you bring the legs back in front of you, and you can use one of your knees to just bend theirs. And if they're relaxed, that should just happen. If they're not, that's a good test. You've still got the back of their heels, so here we're pretending we've got a really big steering wheel. You gently turn some corners. And so again, check in that it feels okay for them. Bongo's pretty flexible, so I can use my knee and calf to just give him a little bit more of a stretch here on the back of his thigh, putting some weight into it, but you may not find that works, or it might be a bit much, so communicate as you go and explore that one.
It shouldn't be painful, it should be enjoyable.
A bit more. And then when you've had enough of that, you bring the legs up in front of you, straighten out the knees in this position, supported, and you can gently walk them back. And you can loosen off the hips a little bit in a different way by giving them a bit of a circling on the way down. Again, notice that I'm not bending my back and taking weight in awkward positions. I'm trying to stay upright in my posture and supported. There we go. And if you're feeling super nice, you might want to give your base a nice brush down at the end. So thank you for all the hard work. Kind of feels nice. Or ticklish. There we go.
Thank you so much for joining us, my friends.
Yeah, I hope you have fun playing with Acroyoga, and check us out on Facebook, Yoga of Dragons, and Instagram.
It was very weird doing a first online class, so hopefully it was okay.
And thanks to Danny, woo!
Yep.
Wonderful assistant. Genuine first time, like, extremely good.
No one's going to believe that.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Right.